Aryna Sabalenka just swept the Sunshine Double, crushing Indian Wells and Miami back-to-back. Yet when asked about Alex Eala, the champion's face went blank. That split-second look revealed more about the 2026 tennis landscape than any ranking ever could. On paper, the hierarchy is clear. Sabalenka has sat atop the throne for over 80 straight weeks. Meanwhile, Eala is buried at 45th, sitting below names most casual fans wouldn't even recognize. Still, the industry's power players and legendary voices are all obsessed with one nagging question. It isn't about Sabalenka's skill, she's unstoppable, but whether winning trophies and selling tickets have become two different sports. Yeah, I heard the buzz about Alex Eala lately. Everyone's talking and it makes total sense. You have these players coming from huge markets like the Philippines. She's the biggest star they've ever had, and that country is massive. The hype is real. That's just how it goes. Honestly, the scheduling was a bit of a mess. She probably deserved a primetime spot on a main court. But she's still a kid, a rising star, and those early rounds are always a logistical nightmare. Fitting all the heavy hitters on center court is tough. It's a good problem to have, though. The Filipino fans showed up in force. New York was insane, too. The vibe really changes depending on the court and how loud the crowd gets. Melbourne and New York have been the peak so far. Flash forward to January 2026 at the Australian Open. Alexandra Eala wraps up a normal practice. Standard procedure for a mid-tier player meant 0 security guards were by her side. But as she stepped off the court with her team, a human wave crashed toward them. The sheer force pinned her against the concrete wall. Eala and her father had to scream just to clear a path through the frenzy. That isn't the life of the world number 45. That is the life of a global superstar. That same month, Sabalenka was busy chasing history, hunting for a Sunshine Double no one had touched since Iga Swiatek in 2022. Her power game was flawless, a brutal display of baseline dominance that looked sharper than ever. But while Sabalenka was collecting trophies, Eala was causing riots. By 2026, those were no longer the same achievement. Cheering sometime in early 2026, a new phrase started echoing behind closed doors. It wasn't a marketing slogan. It was the raw assessment of analysts trying to quantify a new kind of magic. People only pay when Alex plays. 5 words that signal the biggest economic earthquake the tour has felt in a generation. In pro sports, we always assume the winner is the biggest draw. Not anymore. Eala's Instagram boasts over 920,000 followers with an engagement rate near 20% stats that blow the tour average out of the water. In Miami, her round of 16 run paid her about $105,720, but her real value was invisible. The ticket surges and broadcast spikes in Dubai, Doha, and Melbourne tell a story no check could. Even world number 3 Coco Gauff had to admit it. Gauff praised Eala for bringing a whole new audience to the game. When the elite start acknowledging the drawing power of a rank-and-file player, the game has changed. It was a battle and I gave it everything. I had my chances but let them slip. That's tennis. One day you're the hero, the next you're not. I'm just praying I end up on the winning side more often this year, keeping the faith right now. To grasp Eala's impact in 2026, look back at March 2025 in Miami. She arrived as a wildcard, ranked 140th. Wildcards at that rank aren't supposed to make the Final Four. They aren't supposed to take down legends. Eala did both, including a stunning upset over the legendary Iga Swiatek. That Miami miracle turned a junior prospect into an icon for the Filipino diaspora, one of the most widespread fan bases on earth. Back home analysts didn't compare her to other tennis players. They compared her to Manny Pacquiao, the boxing god who redefined Asian sports history. You don't make that comparison for just any athlete, especially not one ranked 45th. But the resume keeps growing. Eala has covered Vogue and was the first Asian tennis player ever named Athlete of the Year by the PSA. She led her nation as the flag bearer at the 2025 Southeast Asian Games. She isn't a rising star anymore. She's a national symbol. Sure, I see the noise, but for some reason the negativity always sticks more. Laughter and gasps. I try not to look too close. If I see my face in a headline, I just keep scrolling. Some people are just mean for no reason, and it's not worth the headspace. Andy Roddick has seen it all in his 25 years in the game, first as a world number 1, now as the sport's most honest critic. Andy Roddick dropped a truth bomb after his high-stakes sit-down with Eala on his Served podcast. At 43, having lived and breathed the game, he admitted he never possessed her level of grit or self-awareness, especially while battling a massive fame-driven whirlwind. He flat out called her a pioneer for her nation. He labeled her a pure gift. Imagine a former world number one admitting a 20-year-old outclasses his younger self in poise. This isn't just empty praise. Legend Greg Rusetsky reached the exact same conclusion on his own. Rusetsky noted her movement is elite, and her tactical brain is light years ahead considering the crushing expectations she carries. He even doubled down, predicting she'll storm the top 10 this year thanks to her psychological and tactical dominance. On the Nothing Major podcast, tennis vets debated if she's now the biggest attraction in the women's game. Then the momentum shifted. The 2026 season brought a security crisis in Melbourne and massive hype. Amid the Pacquiao hype and Roddick's praise, three brutal scorelines emerged that tell a whole different story. At Indian Wells, she got crushed 6-2, 6-0. Dubai and Miami followed with equally devastating losses. 3 matches, 0 mercy. Analysts are already drawing scary parallels to the struggles Emma Raducanu faced. Raducanu's string of heavy losses reportedly shattered her rhythm. Is the same thing happening here? But the hard data points toward the reality that most pundits are completely ignoring right now. It is Eala time. This is her era. Fans are centering their entire lives around her matches. $77. Look, it is $77 for the year. That is a massive steal compared to a monthly sub. Have you ever seen families schedule their entire dinner plans around one player? Not since the legends. Probably not even for my own family, honestly. It really depends on what was for dinner. This is huge for the sport. These losses and her explosive fame are happening together for a reason. Every single blowout was against a top 10 titan. She has not failed, she's just punching up. She is fighting monsters one level above her, yet her stadium crowds only keep getting bigger. The numbers prove it. People are not tuning in for the wins. They are tuning in for Eala. That is a rare electric bond between an athlete and a nation that we rarely ever see. Pro tennis has not seen this kind of gravity in decades. The upcoming clay season changes everything. The calendar has intentionally kept Aryna Sabalenka and Alexandra Eala on separate paths for the clay opener. This separation reveals a massive secret about where both of these stars truly stand right now. The Stuttgart Grand Prix kicks off April 13, 2026, featuring 7 of the top 10 superstars. Heavy hitters like Sabalenka, Rybakina, Gauff, and Swiatek are all ready to go to war there. That insane concentration of talent pushed Eala into the qualifying rounds despite her rising status. This is happening even though she secured a direct main draw spot at the tournament just before. That event is the Linz Open, running April 6th through 12th, 2026 in Austria. With no top 10 players in the mix, Eala sits comfortably in the main draw as a favorite. Here is the twist: for the first time in 38 years, the Linz Open is switching to clay. Legends like Davenport, Sharapova and Henin all dominated here back when it was an indoor hardcourt. This 35th anniversary marks a historic shift. None of those icons ever faced this tournament on dirt. This is the golden opportunity Eala's camp planned for. She only has 70 ranking points to defend. A deep run here could catapult her into the top 30. The prize pool is over $1 million. Winning the title nets $186,000 and vital points for a Roland Garros seeding. If she enters Roland Garros as a seeded threat, her status as tennis's biggest draw becomes undeniable. The debate officially ends there, just days before Eala was already locked in preparing for war. Cameras caught her grinding at the Rafa Nadal Academy, perfecting her craft on the red clay of Mallorca. She's making the final tweaks needed to translate her lightning-fast hardcourt movement to the grueling clay surface. Next up, Stuttgart qualifying, then the Madrid Open at the iconic Bernabeu Stadium, followed by the French Open. Eala has become the face of Philippine tennis. When people think of her nation, they think of her. She remains grounded, fueled by the gratitude she feels after seeing the harsh realities of poverty back home, a heavy national burden met with a rare, quiet humility. A 20-year-old phenom stepping onto untouched clay, ready for battle. No top 10 rivals, 70 points at stake, and a Roland Garros seed within reach. There's zero doubt Sabalenka is the dominant force in the game today. But will 2026 see Alexandra Eala go from headline maker to Grand Slam champion? That's the mystery.